What's happening, everybody? You know what time it is. Another week of family chats where sports brings the family together. My name's Freddie Rivera. I'm the father, the dad, the uncle on this show. My son Giovanni Rivera here to my left. What's up, Joe?
What's happening, everybody? Glad to be back for another week. I believe we are on week 19. Almost 5 months, going strong. It's crazy.
Doing a great job. Doing a great job. Shout out to my boy who just ran his first 5K yesterday too. Pretty cool. Angel Garcet, who's our third member here, is out this week up in New Jersey. Still continuing to pursue his dreams of being a ball player and doing some tryouts and things of that nature up in New Jersey. So, again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Everyone that's on Facebook, appreciate you guys tuning in. Throw in your comments, who you like in the Celtics Cleveland series, how many games, who you like in the Houston Golden State series, which starts tomorrow, how many games. Tell us what you like. If you have questions, ideas, sports, baseball, throw it all out at us. We'll try to interact here. That's what we do from week to week. And share. There's a share button. Please share the video with your family and friends and anyone that likes sports. Hopefully they tune in. But thank you for making this a lot more fun. The interaction is greatly appreciated. We look forward to it every week. Sunday nights we come on for about an hour and a half or so. So with that being said, let's get started with Lebron not showing up in Cleveland today.
In Boston.
Well, you're right. In Boston, he didn't show up. So, but the whole team didn't seem to show up. Joe, your thoughts on LeBron? And they had time to rest. It's the first game of the playoffs. Pretty interesting that he didn't show up with it.
I mean, you come out, you have guys talking crap about you, saying they're going to guard you, and then you come out and you play like that. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing to come out and play like that game one in the Eastern Conference Finals when someone's talking about you, talking about I'm the best player that's going to be able to defend LeBron.
That's a good point. Jay Ham from the ATL says Celtics may actually be too athletic for the Cavs. Tatum is becoming scary. And that's true. Tatum is becoming the real deal, and someone that Philly probably looks at and says, man, we should have picked him number one in the draft. But it's true. It's exactly what you said. It says a lot that you have, Celtics guys coming out talking that they probably have the best defender to defend him, talking a little smack before the game. You had videos of the Celtics going into the locker room after the Philadelphia Sixers win, talking about we want LeBron in Cleveland. I'm sure LeBron saw it, and for him to throw up a dud today is surprising just based off that, because he had a lot of material that we would think would pump you up for this series in the first game. I thought LeBron was going to come out on fire to prove a point, and the Celtics came out and were pretty impressive. So
they handled the Cavs, that's for sure.
They did. They handled the Cavs, but I think the way they handled the Cavs is obviously to force everyone else on Cleveland to score. Right? Shut down LeBron, double team him, triple team him, and you just force everyone else to score.
I mean, so this is the numbers. Marcus Morris, he came out, he said, I'm the best person who can guard LeBron under probably, Kawhi Leonard, he said?
Yeah, behind Kawhi Leonard.
He said, and during game one, 24 plays, LeBron had 5 points on 2 of 6 shooting, 2 assists, and 1 turnover.
That's when Morris was on him?
That's when Morris was covering him. So,
man.
I mean...
So he backed up the talk, right? He walked the talk, basically. So that's pretty impressive what Morris did, because I thought it was a mistake for him, coming out and saying what he said, but he backed it up. Steven, let's see. Celtics fans now, how NBA ready Tatum was. He was the best pick in the draft. Yeah, definitely the best pick in the draft. What do you think?
Donovan Mitchell is pretty good too.
Yeah, Mitchell has been, my goodness, impressive.
I would say Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell was lower in the draft. Tatum was picked number 3.
Number 3, so he was still a top 3 pick.
Rozier was also a great pick in the draft that the Celtics got.
And
so for Rozier and Tatum to both be picked by the Celtics in the same draft,
yeah,
is crazy, because y'all got another Kyrie Irving basically.
Yeah, J Ham thinks that LeBron will have a 40-10-10 game in Game 2.
I mean, that's all. That's all we can hope for. I mean,
you better hope for that.
With a plus-minus of -32 on the court today, that's pretty ridiculous when you're the best player in the world.
It was pretty sad that he had a -32 while he was on the court. That's probably I think that's the worst in his career.
It was in the playoffs. It was the worst playoff performance plus-minus in LeBron James' career.
Plus-minus for LeBron's
career. Plus-minus is
32 while he was on the court.
Yeah, so plus-minus is basically they were down.
Yeah, while he was on the court.
They got outscored by 32 points
while he was on the court. So that's pretty telling right there.
And 7 turnovers today.
And the turnovers tells you something. Turnovers usually tells you that they're putting a lot of pressure on LeBron, double teaming him, triple teaming him, and forcing him to get rid of the ball, in situations that he doesn't like. But that Celtics team is very athletic. As Jay said, probably one of the most athletic teams right now. I think that the Celtics would right now. I think if the Celtics went to the finals, they would give Houston or Golden State a better run than the LeBron and the Cavs.
I can honestly agree to that because they're just a better, they're overall well-rounded team,
right? And
they have the better coach. Because I mean, we talked about it last week about Tristan Thompson and how when he started to play in the series against the Raptors, they started to look better when he was starting, when he was on the floor. Today, He didn't start today. I don't know why. They decided to go with 3 guards, LeBron James and Kevin Love. Doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, Thompson seemed to have a pretty decent game, 8 points, 11 rebounds. But
yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, I don't understand at this point why he's not starting still and why they're trying to go with 3 guards.
What do you guys think? I think they probably just went with they tried to go with a smaller team. Defensively was probably the way to go against this athletic Celtics team. But as you said, he came on off the bench and still played pretty well. I think I would start him next game.
I mean, just anything different, really. I mean, if you're going, the Celtics kind of go with the smaller rotation as well, but I feel like if you can beat them bigger with Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, that leaves Tristan Thompson, you're able to space him out more and get him on the three-point line.
The Cavaliers, to give you an idea, I believe they were 4 for 26 from three-point range. And if they're not going to hit the 3 ball and they're going to sit behind that line and shoot that bad, they're not going to win any game. They're going to have to hit some of those 3-pointers. Love's going to have to hit, Korver's going to have to hit, J.R. Smith is going to have to hit some threes because they're going to be open.
Between the 3 of them, they had 2 3-pointers today.
Between those 3 guys I mentioned, 3 out of what?
3, 9.
2 for 12. 2 for 12. Hood will have to play extra for the Cavs to win too. You like Hood in the game?
Hood played decent today, but I mean, the attitude that he showed last week, which unbelievable, really. Did you see that when they asked him to come and play at the end of the game, like the Raptors game? He didn't want to
come in because
and he refused to play. Yeah, he didn't want to play.
Oh wow. So yeah, that's a big deal.
That happened in the last game.
Bobby from New Jersey says he thinks he comes down to Cleveland role players hitting their open shots. Also, the defense was suspect for game 1, no energy, and that's true. I believe that's
terrible attitude.
Yeah, and Jade says terrible attitude though, which is true. The attitude, you can't bring that attitude in the game and expect the coach to put you in,
especially in the playoffs when you're playing with the best player in the world.
You can't.
In the playoffs and you're not going to go play during the garbage time, that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make
especially
no sense
when in the last series he was cold. He was terrible last series. So trying to bring him in, find your shot when you're up by so many points, and he's still going to refuse to go in during garbage time, blows my mind. I mean, when you're just trying to find a rhythm and you're just trying to feel yourself a little bit better, it makes absolutely no sense. So
it's true, and what Bobby said was right. I believe that the role players have to play much better. And they have to hit their jump shots. They're going to be open because LeBron is going to find them. If they hit their jump shots, they'll stay in games. If these guys can't score when they're open, LeBron will have a lot of trouble no matter who and how good he's playing. But I'll pause here. Everyone that's tuning in, thanks for tuning in. We call this show Family Chats. It's a weekly podcast we have here. We do it on Facebook Live to interact with all of you guys, answer questions, go back and forth, have fun. Have my son, Giovanni Rivera, here. My nephew, Angel, usually is on, but he's up north this week, chasing the dream to continue to play baseball. But do us a favor. Happy Mother's Day to everybody who's tuning in, and hope you had a great Mother's Day weekend. But share the video with any of your friends and family, anybody that loves sports. Thanks again for tuning in. What do you guys think about, while we're talking about the East, I wanted to bring it up a little bit, is Toronto firing their coach after getting swept by Cleveland. Do you agree with the firing? Do you think it was premature? Here's a guy that won Coach of the Year and was first in the East, lost to LeBron. I understand the frustration in Toronto, but do you guys believe that he deserved to be fired?
Well, I'll say this right now. I'll tell you what it is right now. You can't fire all the players who don't have that mindset of that killer attitude. You can't fire them.
Mm.
You can't just put that killer instinct in them. DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry got outscored by LeBron in the whole entire series.
Yeah,
you can't teach that. You can't teach that fire mentality that they need to have during the playoffs. And since you can't teach that, you got to change something. And I guess they felt like it was okay to fire the Coach of the Year. Doesn't really make sense to me.
It shows, for me, it shows you the sign of the times. Like Jay Ham saying, start blowing the whole thing up. Well, Jay, as you know, and I would say you probably would agree, it's a sign of the times when coaches are doing a heck of a job coaching and carries a team to this type of year. To fire the coach, and maybe some people are saying maybe because he sat DeRozan and they had a little bit of issue in that series and had maybe some disagreements, they thought, keep DeRozan happy, fire the coach. It just shows you where the power's at, and it's unfortunate because this is why coaches don't make that much. The star players are being babied and pampered, and they have the power. Because as Joe said, a lot of times you're not going to fire these players. You're going to try to keep them. You're going to try to keep them happy, to re-sign them. And obviously a lot of these players have a lot more power, and it's unfortunate. And it goes for the whole NBA. LeBron, and it's unfortunate. I'm frustrated because DeRozan doesn't deserve that type of respect yet. LeBron does. LeBron can make those moves. You know what I mean? LeBron can say that and get rid of this coach, get rid of that coach if he wanted. He's earned it. He's been in the league a long time. DeRozan is not that type of player. He don't deserve it. He has not earned it yet, and he hasn't proven it yet. And it's pretty disgusting when a player like that can determine, if that was the case, got his coach fired because of what happened. It's pretty embarrassing.
I mean, when you get beat by the same team 3 years in a row, I can see where you get frustrated, but at the end of the day, is it the coach's fault? I mean, when the players come out and play that bad, is it really the coach's fault? I mean,
no.
They got outscored by LeBron James. The whole series, one player outscored two. The star players of Toronto got outscored.
2 all-stars.
All-stars. We're talking about all-stars.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing that, they can't, they needed to take accountability for their play on the court. And it was pretty embarrassing that they didn't show up. Could the coach have done something? I believe so. Obviously the coaches can make some decisions and change the attitudes around. And look at the Celtics coach. He didn't even get a vote for Coach of the Year. And he's lost 2 of his stars, and he continues to win with the players. That's pretty powerful coaching. And that's what coaching is supposed to do, bring the best out of their players, no matter what. Who he has, he just puts in plays and designs the team around who he has on the court. And that guy is doing a heck of a job.
I mean, there's no doubt he's
in Boston,
the best coach in the NBA right now. I mean, you have guys like Ty Lue who still have a job.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. All year he's just been so terrible.
J Ham has a confession to make. He said he was wrong about DeRozan being MVP candidate.
It's all right. We forgive you. It's all right, Jay. We forgive you here. We knew when you said it.
Yeah, we
wrong,
knew when you said it. We were like, DeRozan. Well, we did. Listen, they were first in the East, right? LeBron was fourth. So you weren't wrong in saying he deserved to be an MVP candidate, someone to consider.
No.
The playoffs but the playoffs does not determine.
The problem with it is that they need to announce the NBA awards before the playoffs start. Yeah. It doesn't make sense because then everybody's thinking like, now that the playoffs start, everybody's like, oh, well, Mitchell should probably get Rookie of the Year over Simmons. But it's like they weren't saying that during the year. Mm-hmm. Like, I can vouch for that. I was saying the same thing. When you watch these guys play in the playoffs, you're like, wow, was he really doing this all year long? Yeah. Because guys like Mitchell, he was scoring consistently all year long. So, I don't know.
Jay said he's on a Bradley Beal level.
Oh. Washington is not a good team. Yeah. If I was Washington, I would blow that team up.
Yeah. Toronto and Washington have to look at their teams and decide what do they want to do. Listen, you got guys that are getting better, DeRozan and those guys. Do you just get a better supporting cast around them?
The one thing about the NBA is I feel like if you don't get LeBron James in free agency, I feel like the only way you're getting like tremendously better is if you draft the best.
Like the Celtics.
I mean, like, come on, like, if you're not getting LeBron, I feel you're not getting that next level crazy. But you see a team like the Jazz, who was always like 8th place and lower. Yeah. They get a guy like Donovan Mitchell, and now they're 3rd place in the West, and they're playing good in the playoffs. It's crazy to see. And you see the 76ers obviously have proved that method. Yeah. They didn't go sign anybody crazy in free agency, but they drafted well. They got Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. They took their time, and look where they got. I mean, it's crazy.
Todd Lewis, you say Celtics in 5. Cavs will be lucky to win one game. Man, Bobby Bray, I think this mirrors Mark Jackson's ouster in Golden State. It's true. Toronto's front office may think Toronto's roster may have hit a ceiling with the coach. Front thinks they need a new coach to take them to the next level.
Mark Jackson should be mad about that being fired in Golden State. He was like 1 year away from being that next level, and they fired him.
Being a Hall of Fame coach with the way they've won. J-Ham says Celtics will trade Tatum and Brown for AD.
No. That'd be a terrible move.
That would be a bad move.
That would be so bad.
Yeah, I don't
If they traded those two guys who have been leading this team through the playoffs, that would be crazy. No, I honestly...
They won't do that. Why would they do that?
There would be no reason. They'd be losing two All-Stars for one.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown is going to be an All-Star. I feel like him... Tatum has the potential to be an All-Star.
Yeah, so, all right. Anybody else there? What are your thoughts on the rest of the series? What's your thoughts on the series? Before today's game, I asked you this earlier.
I'm still thinking the same thing.
Cleveland's going to win, and you said Cleveland in what?
In 5 or 6.
He said Cleveland in 5 or 6 games.
And I'm still sticking with that prediction.
Still sticking with that prediction.
Because honestly, getting embarrassed like this it's the best way to get embarrassed.
It's the best way to lose.
It's the first game. You don't want to lose by a couple. You want to get embarrassed because LeBron's now going to get fired up, and I feel like he's going to come out and perform like LeBron James will in the next game. And if he doesn't, then my prediction will switch. If they lose tomorrow, if he doesn't play like he does, like he should tomorrow, then it's Celtics in 4.
I thought Celtics would win in 6 or 7 is what I said to Joe, and I think they need to do it in 6 because I wouldn't want to see LeBron even in Boston in Game 7. But I do think that playing in Boston is hard. You know, you're on the road. I like the Celtics in 6 or 7. Bobby says he agrees with you. Cleveland in 6 or Celtics in 7.
I agree. It's either going to be Cleveland. I don't think if Cleveland wins, they're going to go 7. Cleveland has to win in either 6 or 5, I guess.
J Ham says Cleveland. He's Cleveland in 6 too. Man, that means they have to go 4-1 in the next 5 games.
It's not impossible, man.
And Steven says, careful. Imagine if the Cavs steal the next game. This whole conversation could become upside down.
We're not thinking about the same thing if they steal the next game.
You guys all make valid points. This was my thought before the game even started.
That is what he said before the game started.
We both asked each other, what do you think before the game? So
he did say that I think Boston will win in either 5. Yeah. 6 or 7.
Yeah, we didn't want the game to determine what
we would think.
Yeah,
but no, I said this last series. I was talking to my friend after Game 1 that Celtics were winning versus 76ers. I was like, listen, I, like everybody else, want the 76ers to win. But after Celtics won Game 1, I'm like, everybody's going to be mad when the Celtics win the series. Because it's like so obvious. We've been disrespecting this team all year. They're such a well-rounded team. They have the best coach who knows how to handle the team the best. They have all these rookies and all these second-year stars. And they have Al Horford, who's performing like a great big man. He's performing. He's being very consistent. That's, I mean, I was like, people are going to be mad when they beat the 76ers. Because they're such a good team, and people are still, they're just like, oh no, the 76ers are going to win. They're going to go to the finals. They're going to beat LeBron. They're going to
picked the Sixers.
Everybody picked the 76ers. Like, it's no surprise. But after that Game 1, and I saw them beat the 76ers, and they handled them easily, I was like, people are going to be mad. I still want
the 1 point that game. Was that the one game?
No, that was the second game.
Man.
I was like, I still want the 76ers to win, but people are going to be mad when the Celtics actually win. Because in reality, we think
no, it's true.
The Sixers disrespecting this team.
The Sixers were we all thought they had won like 16 out of 17 games, and they just seemed to be coming on to their own, and everybody was picking the Sixers. They were the hot team, and not surprised that the Celtics won. I was more surprised that the Celtics dominated that series. So, but yeah, we were talking about the Celtics at the end of the season on how the Celtics played very well against the best West Coast teams, which said a lot about the Celtics, that they stepped up against those West Coast teams. The Thunder, the Golden State Warriors, they played well against the Rockets. All the top West Coast teams, the Celtics did not get blown out. They played very well against all of them. When they did lose, they lost by a few points. I think the last game against the Rockets went in overtime. They lost.
The one game the Celtics lost really bad was when LeBron James got all his new teammates.
Yeah.
And they dominated them.
That's right.
But other than that, they didn't really lose too many games by a whole lot of points. I mean.
No, they every time they played a West Coast team, they played pretty well. It was different. They competed, which is what I saw. And still, teams didn't give them credit. I think they went 1-1 against Golden State, 1-1 against Houston. In the season, I think they beat Oklahoma City both times. I think they went 1-1 versus Utah.
They did lose, I think, the season series versus Cleveland, though.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, I think they went 2-1. Just looking at it now, I think they beat Golden State twice. Went 2-1 against them.
All right, but that's enough of the Eastern Conference.
We're going to go to the West.
There's obviously a biggest series of the year that we need to be talking about in the West. Rockets versus Golden State. What we've been saying all year long is going to be the Western Conference Finals.
Well, I said the Western Conference Finals is the NBA Finals. I believe the best two teams right now in the NBA are playing in the West. And whoever wins in this West Coast Finals is going to win the NBA Finals. That's my thought before the series. I think the game that starts tomorrow, Houston beat Golden State during the season. I think they didn't lose a game against Houston during the season. Did they?
I think they did. I think they
maybe went 2-1. But Houston won that series, and Houston won that series. The Rockets won that series against Golden State during the year when Steph Curry was healthy. They did not win when Steph Curry was out and the team was hurt. So to give Houston credit, Houston had the best record. Houston has the MVP on their team, James Harden, according to me. That's my opinion. I think he was the MVP, deserved it. I think they ran away with the West when Golden State started to get hurt. But they also beat Golden State in the series when Golden State was healthy, when they had everyone. Steph Curry, the Rockets matched them up, and the Rockets won. And the Rockets are going to have to play like that during the season because this is a different Golden State team. This is not the regular season. Golden State is experienced. That's the difference. These playoffs, now the pressure is on Harden and the pressure is on Houston to overcome Golden State. Golden State's been there and done that. They are calm and cool, and they've been to these series, and they've been in tough series, and they've won the championship. So the regular season is one season, but when you come to the playoffs, the pressure is elevated. Can Houston handle the pressure of winning in the playoffs against Golden State? different in the regular season.
No.
What's your thoughts?
No, they can't, and they won't. The Golden State Warriors are going to handle them. They're going to handle them so easily. I feel like it's literally going to be a 5-game series. I think the Rockets are going to get 1 game. And
5 games?
I think it's going to be a 5-game series.
Holy smokes!
I think.
What are your thoughts? Houston, Golden State. How many games? Who's going to win? Tell us your thoughts.
I really do think it's going to be a 5-game series. As sad as that sounds, and as overhyped this series has been.
You think it's going to be a deflated series?
I think it's going to be very overhyped.
Oh,
I think the way Steph has came back and he started to play, and I think the way Kevin Durant's played all postseason, Klay Thompson as well. Draymond Green's not stressing them. I really don't think Golden State's going to stress this team at all.
That's true. Stephen Marr says Kevin Durant and his mom won't let the Warriors lose. Don't. Nobody was talking about Durant. It's all LeBron talk. Warriors win easy. He agrees with you that Golden State wins easy. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think Houston will win 2 games.
You're saying Warriors in 6.
At least. Yeah, I mean, I love the Warriors. I love what they do. But I do think Houston is not a fluke. I think Houston was tough all year. I think Houston has the talent to defend Golden State, and they proved it. Now it's the playoffs, so I get it. I think Houston comes up short. I think it's going to be frustrating for Harden and the team watching this Golden State team come up. And you're right, I believe Kevin Durant, and with Steph Curry healthy, can't pick against Golden State. I think they're the best team in the NBA.
Steph Curry with some rest. I mean, and I'm looking at, we just saw in this playoffs too many games, and it's just like 1 or 2, but we've seen James Harden be stopped. When in this postseason have we seen Kevin Durant be stopped? Never. We haven't.
Yeah, he might be the best player no one's talking about right now.
He is, because he has such a well-rounded team around him, and there's no pressure.
There's no
that's
pressure.
what. That's
it's less pressure.
That's literally why we don't talk about Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
he has no pressure, and he's a cupcake. That's why we don't talk about Kevin Durant. He's the biggest cupcake in the league, but at the end of the day, he's one of the best basketball players in the league right now. So, it's going to be super hard for the Rockets to beat Golden State. James Harden's literally going to have to play at the next level, like he has been.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to play at the next level every game for them to win.
And Paul, I think Paul and
Paul's gonna have to step up.
They have to step up like the last series. Bobby says Golden State beats Houston in 6. Comes down to Golden State's system. Golden State is a better passing team, and with a stronger defense, I have to agree with you that their system is amazing. I love how they pass the ball. I love how people come off the bench and they don't skip a beat. They got enough talent on the bench to be starters on other teams, and their bench is experienced too, more experienced than most teams. So I love Golden State's team. I love their bench. They got an MVP of a playoffs, right? A championship series on the bench. So, they're ready to go. They're healthy. If they stay healthy, Golden State's just going to be too hard to beat. But I do think that Houston will will themselves to 1 to 2 games in this series, and I'm hoping that it becomes a good series and it's not, overhyped, and then we don't get what we want to see. But
it's sad because I do think it's going to be overhyped. I truly think that the Rockets are gonna be handled by the Warriors. Man. That this Warriors team they know how to play in the playoffs. They've done it for how many straight years? 4, 5, 6 straight years in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just like LeBron have been going, but this is a whole team now we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about LeBron
right.
and Kevin Love and some role players. We're talking about the whole starting lineup has been here for the past 4 or 5 years.
Pretty darn good. One of the best teams ever. So, yeah, it's true. Warriors in 5. Lewis agrees with you. That's Todd. He agrees that he believes the Warriors will win in 5. But it's true. You definitely have 4 All-Stars on the court, maybe 5 at times, with that Warriors team, and any one of those guys can carry you. That's too much for a lot of these teams to overcome. When LeBron is off, he has Love, and Love hasn't shown the ability to carry the team.
When LeBron's off, he has nobody. Basically, is what we're trying to say. This postseason, he has had nobody.
That's true. It's been LeBron or nobody. Even though last series Love did step up, and Love did have games 20-plus points and played very well.
And now we say when Kevin Durant's off, but he hasn't been off at all. He scored 20-plus every game, 30-plus most of the games. The only 20-point game I remember is when him, Curry, and Klay Thompson all had like 25 points. So
Jay Ham believes Golden State. He said the series will be over in the third quarter of Game 1. No respect for Houston, man. What's up? They got the MVP of the league. They got Chris Paul. They got 2 Hall of Famers on that team.
The overhyped MVP who doesn't deserve to be MVP.
And they got a lot of supporting cast that's
doesn't
played
even deserve to be MVP.
How does he not deserve to be MVP?
He doesn't.
He beat the best team in the league and then took over with the best record. That's impressive. This is when Golden State was fully healthy. We're not talking about, oh, they got hurt and then they lost first place. No. He carried them to the best record in the league. Harden deserves the MVP.
Doesn't deserve it.
Listen, your thoughts? Harden, MVP of the regular season. We're not talking about playoffs, regular season. Who's going to win it, Harden or LeBron? That's been a hot topic over the last few weeks. But we definitely, I believe Harden deserved it. I thought Harden won it with a month left in the season. And the end of the season didn't matter because he had already had won the best record. Houston, they had already had playoff advantage.
If they weren't in first place and they didn't have the best record and he had the same stats,
Michael thinks second place. He agrees with you. He thinks Harden's second place in MVP voting and he won't win it.
Say this. Say let's wipe away the record and we just look at the stats. Who wins the MVP for you?
Yeah, it would be LeBron, just looking at stats. But that's why there's a story behind it, and that's why people with the best stats don't always win MVP. It's true, not every, but it's happened.
The last lot of years, it's been the stats.
Well, yeah, no, the stats help, but when you have a
Westbrook, Curry had the best stats
and the best team.
Yeah, but he also had the best stats
and the best team. He had both.
Okay, but when I'm talking about stats, he had the best stats.
Well, you know, Harden was
Westbrook
close.
did not have the best team, but he had the best stats.
Yeah, overwhelming. You know, he did something that hasn't happened in decades.
Well, so he did it again.
Yeah, and he did it again.
Why?
Why? Because he did it last year. It's old already.
He's not going to do it now. He's not going to win it now because points per game went down. But
yeah,
if he had the same points per game he did last year, he would definitely won MVP.
Yeah.
Because he had averaged over 30 this year.
You know, Jordan averaged over 30 points a game for the last 12 to 14 years in regular season and playoffs. Pretty impressive.
I'm pretty sure he didn't even play 14 years, so I'm pretty sure that's a bullshit stat.
Well, I said 12
I'm pretty
to 14.
sure he did not play 14 years, so please.
I think it's 12 years.
Guys, please do not take that seriously. Michael Jordan didn't even play that long, so.
I think it was his last 12 years. I want to get that right.
12 years?
Yeah.
His last 12 years. You realize he played for the Wizards, right?
Yeah.
No, he did not average 30 points with the Wizards.
No, you saying he didn't play more than 12 years in his career?
I'm going
to check.
I'm going to check. And if he played he probably played like 12 years.
All right, let's see. J. Ham says Harden deserves MVP. Malone and Chuck got MVP and didn't sniff a title. That's true. Stephen Mars, there are certain players in sports that have it. Harden is a really good player. Regular season guy. He's not going to carry a team to championship. Not in his DNA. Harden won't sniff a title. J. Ham says too. You guys hating on Harden, but I understand because he has to prove it on the court.
He just has such a mountain to climb.
Yeah, he seems to kind of like LeBron, not get his team over the top most of the times.
What?
He gets them almost there and then disappoints.
What? You just say LeBron doesn't carry his team?
No, Kyrie carried LeBron the last time they won the championship.
No,
yes, he did.
No,
go check it. There's no Kyrie, so he ain't winning.
No,
because Kyrie left.
He didn't carry them.
Kyrie averaged like 27 points that year.
Kyrie is not hitting 1-3 to win a game.
No, that's not what Kyrie did. Kyrie took over the game at times and let LeBron just sit on the corner and watch.
Oh my God.
I know, but I'm having fun. Let's we're going to be talking about this series later. We'll talk a little bit about these stats and so again, NBA is hot topic. This is fun right now. I just hope it doesn't, it doesn't disappoint. Steven says, Freddie, I'm not a LeBron fan, but Harden is not even close.
Last year, LeBron's averaged more points.
Listen, I'm not saying Harden is close, but I do think Harden's the MVP this year. That's all I'm saying.
2016, LeBron averaged more points.
When's that?
2017 and
In
2016, yes, both. He does have an average of 27.8 points per game.
Who was that, Kyrie?
In the finals.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like
still
27
not that good. Or not as good as LeBron.
No, I'm not saying he's as good as LeBron. I think he at sometimes he carried LeBron in that playoff. He was making plays that was on blue. He helped make it easy for LeBron.
Anybody.
Oh, yes. Yes, he did.
Sorry, but I do not think he carried LeBron. I think obviously he made plays, but that's not carrying anybody. When the dude is scoring just as many points, more points per game.
There were times he carried LeBron.
And there was time LeBron carried the whole team.
That's true. But Kyrie held his own. Kyrie held his own.
Of course, that's why he felt the need to leave.
That's why he left.
And that's why the Celtics are going to win some games without him. Sad to say. That Celtics don't need him. So
the Celtics
how big of a player is he?
Now
I don't even need him.
Or they might not need him right now, but if they face a Golden State, if
they had Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, they would definitely
compete.
They would more than compete. I think they would win.
Oh,
I think they would beat either of those teams.
Man.
But we'll see how some of those guys who are getting more minutes now starting are going to be playing next year when they're not starting.
See, here's Bobby Bray. Jordan played 15 years, son. 13 years Chicago, 2 in Washington.
Okay, so his last 12 years he scored over 30.
No, I didn't say his last 12.
No, you did. You did. You said his last 12. His last 2 were in Washington. Did he score 30 points? Did he score 30 points per game in Washington?
No.
Okay, thank you. He didn't. So his last 2 years, he did not. So he said his last. I said nothing about him not scoring 30 points per game. I said he did not do that in his last years.
I have to find out what his average was in Washington. I think it was 20 in the 20s.
20? I see it right there. 22.9 and 20.
Yeah. And then even he...
So his last 4 years, he didn't score 30 points per game.
28.7, 29.6.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
even here.
7 years. 8 years in his career, he scored 30 points per game.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
not 12, not even
8,
double digits.
That's right.
8.
8 years he averaged over 30
Still,
in the regular season.
Probably one of the most. I don't know which is the most, but that's probably close to the most. But I mean, that's what he did. That's what Michael Jordan did.
That's what he did. He scored.
He's a scorer.
He scored.
So,
because he wasn't put in position to pass. He didn't bring the ball down. It wasn't the type of game he played. But I told you there was a period of time that he did get put in that position. I think it was a stretch of maybe 10 to 15 games, and he had triple doubles. And I'll find when that is so I can tell you. But there's a time where Jordan proved he can do it all. I mean, just like LeBron, he was the greatest of all time. But he just didn't have. He wasn't a mentality of pass first at that time. LeBron is. LeBron is a pass first, more Magic Johnson type player. You know, that's where Jordan and Kobe get more of a comparison because those guys were more scorers and off the ball. So next topic, Joe. Let's go on to, what do you got? You got any NBA trivia for the boys?
I have no NBA trivia.
No NBA
trivia. I have some MLB trivia, but that's a little later. Let's move on to the MLB. We're not gonna.
Yeah.
Fix.
Yes. Again. OVO Sound Radio.